The Raptor F-22 fighter jet made its debut in 1997, marking the advent of a new epoch in the development of fifth-generation fighter aircraft and sparking a series of similar fighter jet designs. 2 decades down the line, this fighter jet retains its title as the King of the Skies. The U.S. Air Force plans to keep it in service until the 2060s. Now appearing on your screen is an image of the F-22, the stealthy tactical fighter jet, alongside the F-15, the aircraft it was developed to replace. This single-seat, twin-engine fifth-generation aircraft was a joint venture between Lockheed Martin and Boeing. The F-22 was designed to rule the skies while also offering ground attack capabilities, electronic warfare skills, and an integration of artificial intelligence. Its superior air dominance paired with beyond visual range combat expertise puts it in a league of its own. The F-22 Raptor has dimensions of 18.9 meters in length, 5.1 meters in height, and a wingspan of 13.6 meters. Its radar cross-section is minuscule at 0.0001 square meters, which is comparable to the size of a ball bearing. This combined with its stealth and speed, peaking at Mach 1.8 or over 2,200 kilometers per h, sets it apart. With the exception of the European EF-2000, no other aircraft, including the F-35, Su-57, and the on-screen F-15, can compete. So, what makes the Raptor superior to its counterparts in the skies? It's equipped with an impressive active electronically scanned array radar system, the AN/APG-77V1, capable of detecting 2-meter-sized targets at a range of 240 kilometers. It allows the pilot to fire missiles and neutralize threats before they are even aware of the F-22's presence. The fighter jet houses 3 weapons bays in its fuselage and external hardpoints. Depending on the mission, the F-22 Raptor can carry a range of air-to-air and air-to-ground missiles and bombs, while maintaining its stealth by storing these munitions in its 3 weapons bays. Based on its design specifications, the F-22 can achieve a range of 3,200 kilometers, a ceiling of 18 kilometers, and an estimated service life of approximately 8,000 flight hours before needing a mid-life upgrade. However, in practice, this fighter can often reach up to 15,000 flight hours without requiring significant upgrades or repairs. This level of durability is a feat that even the B-2 Spirit, another advanced combat aircraft, respects. Unlike the typical Sukhoi aircraft with a lifespan of around 2,000 to 4,000 flight hours, the F-22 is far more resilient. The F-22 Raptor, known as the Bird of Prey, was introduced at a time when the U.S. military was involved in ongoing conflicts in Afghanistan and Iraq against terrorist elements. Here, the F-22's stealth and air superiority, similar to the B-2 Spirit's stealth features, were not fully utilized, as it faced adversaries often operating in civilian clothing or using less advanced fighter aircraft and advanced anti-aircraft systems. With these aspects in mind, the F-22 Raptor could be considered one of the unluckiest fighters, as it was introduced without direct adversaries to engage. Of the 187 F-22s delivered to the U.S. Air Force, only 130 were ever operational. In 2011, the last F-22 was delivered, ending 15 years of production for what was known as the world's most formidable and costliest fighter jet, even surpassing the production costs of the B-2 Spirit. Soon after, Lockheed Martin shut down the F-22 production line to make way for the F-35. Recently, Israel, Japan, and Australia have shown interest in the F-22, but their requests have always been met with disappointment. Japan, a crucial U.S. ally in the Asia-Pacific region, is particularly keen to acquire the fifth-generation fighter, given China's development of the J-20 and FC-31 stealth fighters and ongoing territorial disputes in the Senkaku Islands region. Israel, one of America's key allies in the unpredictable Middle East, is a beneficiary of some of the most recent and superior armament, from F-15s and F-16s to the newer F-35s. If we look at the F-15, for example, it's clear how readily the U.S. shares this level of technology with its allies. These fighters are not only exported freely, but are also adapted to suit the regional requirements of the recipient countries, such as Israel. However, when it comes to the F-35, the game changes. Israel has been granted access to the source code, permitting them to directly enhance and tailor the F-35 to their specific regional necessities. In contrast, the F-22 remains a U.S. exclusive due to the Obey Amendment. Authored by Democratic Congressman David Obey, this amendment was targeted at ensuring that classified and sensitive technologies incorporated in the F-22, including its unique stealth features, remain shielded from discovery and replication by potential adversaries. The amendment, appended to the 1998 National Defense Authorization Act, categorically prohibited the export of the fifth-generation F-22 to any foreign government. This has made the F-22 a purely U.S. military aircraft, built with confidential technology and constructed through highly secure and covert methods. This is a stark contrast to the F-15, which is readily shared and adapted for allies. The F-22's program also saw a scale reduction due to changes in the global security landscape. This was similar to the F-15, which also experienced changes in its production due to shifts in global dynamics. However, while the F-15 continues to be a staple in many Allied air forces, the F-22's fate was sealed by the Obey Amendment. Despite interest from countries like Australia, the high costs and the U.S. Congress's hesitance to fund an export version of the F-22 make it highly unlikely that any nation will be able to acquire this aircraft, unlike the F-15. As for a comparison with the F-35, in terms of pure technical specifications, the F-22 outperforms the F-35 in several aspects. It is larger, can reach higher altitudes, has greater speed, a longer operational range, and can carry more weapons. The F-22 excels in air-to-air combat and agility, making it a dominant force in the sky. However, it's important to note that the F-35 was not designed for the same purpose as the F-22. The F-22 was intended to be an air superiority fighter, while the F-35 was primarily developed as a multi-role stealth fighter bomber with a focus on ground attack capabilities. The U.S. Department of Defense envisioned the F-35 bridging the gap between F-22s in a large-scale combat scenario. Nevertheless, the F-22's prowess in air-to-air combat makes it a formidable asset, and its capabilities are unique in the world of fighter aircraft. As of my last knowledge update in 2022, there is no indication that the U.S. is planning to export the F-22 to any foreign government due to the existing legal restrictions and the aircraft's high costs. Hello everyone, dear friends. The F-14 Tomcat is one of the legendary fighter jets of the U.S. military, introduced into service in 1971 and featured in Hollywood movies like Top Gun, directed by Tony Scott in 1986. The F-14 has become an iconic symbol of U.S. military power worldwide, not only portraying the U.S. military excellently, but also elevating the F-14 Tomcat to a prestigious status in the world of aviation. In today's video, we'll explore the F-14 Tomcat and delve into its structural features and drawbacks. So let's get started. The F-14 Tomcat, often referred to as the Tomcat or Tomcat, is a supersonic twin-seat, twin-engine swing-wing fighter jet that served in the U.S. Navy from 1972 to 2006. It was employed in roles such as air superiority, reconnaissance, bombing, and interception. The development of the F-14 followed the failure of the General Dynamics F-111B Aardvark project, and it became the first of the U.S. Navy's fighters developed after the dogfights against MiG aircraft in Vietnam. Production began in 1969 and continued until 1991, with a total of 712 F-14s built. However, after the collapse of the Soviet Union in 1991, the F-14 faced a crossroads. With no remaining threat from Russian bomber aircraft, the formidable F-14 became somewhat redundant by 2006. F-14s were gradually phased out and replaced by the more cost-effective Boeing F/A-18E/F Super Hornet, which was more suitable for modern warfare. Despite being replaced by newer models, the F-14 is well known to the public, especially through the movie Top Gun, where it was portrayed as an iconic fighter jet. The F-14's history includes notable achievements, such as its success in the 1981 Gulf of Sidra incident, where U.S. Navy aircraft, including the F-14 Tomcat, engaged and defeated Libyan fighter jets. This event marked the F-14's first air-to-air combat success, solidifying its reputation as one of the most famous fighter jets in U.S. history. The development of the F-14 was in response to the U.S. Navy's need for an aircraft that could protect its aircraft carriers from bomber attacks. The F-14 was designed with the capability to take off and land on carriers while achieving high speeds, carrying heavy payloads, and maintaining the maneuverability of a fighter aircraft. This design led to the F-14's unique swing-wing configuration, which maximized lift during takeoff and minimized drag at high speeds. The F-14's specifications include a maximum speed of Mach 2.34, a range of approximately 2,500 kilometers, although the combat range is around 1,600 kilometers, and the ability to track up to 24 distant enemy aircraft at 315 kilometers, using its AN/AWG-9 radar, which was one of the earliest electronically scanned radars on a fighter aircraft. The F-14's radar systems allowed it to guide long-range AIM 54 Phoenix missiles against 6 separate targets simultaneously without losing track of other targets. Additionally, the F-14 could carry a variety of weapons with up to 10 weapon stations and a total payload capacity of 6.5 tons. The AIM-54 Phoenix missile is a unique weapon in the world with the ability to actively guide itself using radar and reach speeds of Mach 5, with a maximum range of up to 190 kilometers. However, the F-14's radar system wasn't always strong enough to utilize the full potential of this missile effectively. Despite its legendary status, the F-14 Tomcat had several shortcomings. One of its major disadvantages was its age. Designed in the 1960s and entering service in 1974, some of its components became outdated and required replacement. The high operational costs of the F-14 were also a significant drawback, as its complex systems and regular maintenance made it an expensive aircraft to operate. For every flight hour, the F-14 required up to 40 hours of maintenance, 4 times that of the F/A-18, another U.S. fighter jet. The F-14 was slower than many modern fighter jets, with a maximum speed of 2,485 kilometers per hour. It couldn't fly at low altitudes or access difficult terrain, limiting its combat capabilities. Additionally, the reliability of the TF-30 engines in the F-14 was questioned by pilots, who found them underpowered and unreliable. The F-14 also had limitations when it came to carrying the most modern weapons, which hindered its combat capabilities. With the end of the Cold War and the absence of major adversaries, the U.S. Navy saw the F-14 as an expensive and high-maintenance fighter that had outlived its primary usefulness. As a result, the F-14 was gradually retired, with only a few used for training and reconnaissance before their final retirement in 2006. To ensure that no F-14 components fell into the wrong hands, especially those of Iran, where some F-14s were previously sold, the U.S. Navy initiated the process of dismantling the remaining F-14s, reducing these iconic aircraft to scrap. Despite its shortcomings, the F-14 Tomcat remains an iconic and legendary fighter jet, with a prominent place in the history of military aviation. It will always be remembered as a symbol of American military might,